Hi y'all, in this video I'm going to take you through how to set up your Apple Classroom on your MacBook so that you can assist your students at a social distance. The very first thing you're going to do is open up your applications. You can do this by going to the Finder, or you can also go down to your Genie bar at the bottom and open it from Applications. You're going to open Apple Classroom, and that is going to allow you to set up and create classes. So I'm just going to set up my first period class here. So I'm going to call it Classical Connections, Period 1, and we'll call it First Period. Once I've created that, it'll create that classroom for me. I can go ahead and create my second period class. And then I have my classes set up. So at this point, I'm ready to open up my first period class and invite students to join. The way to do this is to go ahead and project this onto your screen so that your students can see this code, 5731. So at this point, you would ask students to join using the code 5731. So now that we have asked students to join, we're going to look at what it looks like from the student point of view. So the very first thing that we're going to do is when we open up their student iPads, we're going to direct them to go to the settings so that they can join the Bluetooth. They'll need to make sure that their Bluetooth is turned on, and once it is, they'll automatically see the classroom pop up underneath their Bluetooth, which will enable them to go ahead and join our class. So once they've clicked on that, they'll see the active class available for them to join at the top, and it'll say Add Class. They'll click on that. They'll put their name into the student name box. You may want to direct them to put their first and their last name here. It will probably say BHS student instead. And then you'll direct them to put the code into the space below that you have projected onto the board. So once they've put that code in, they'll add the class, and they'll automatically be added. There's a couple of settings here that you'll want to make sure are turned on. The first one of which is that you'll want to make sure that they're always joining the class, which to do that you want to make sure that you have it turned on automatically. The other settings is to allow teacher access. You want to turn it from ask to always so that you don't have to ask them for permission, that it will always grant you permission when you try to lock their apps or AirPlay their screen. Once they've done that, they're now added to the classroom and they're ready for the next step. So now we're back on the teacher side of things, and we see that our student has asked to join our class. So we can click on him or click on off of him to select the student that we want to add. So we're going to go ahead and click Add, and the student has now joined our class. Now, at this point, I'm able to see either students or screens. So I can now go to screens, and I can actually see Johnny's screen. So at this point, I can also see what he's doing from afar. So if a student particularly had a question, for example, about an assignment, I would be able to see what he's doing on his screen and give him some further directions without having to get too close to Johnny. The other thing that I could do is send him to a Safari link, so I could send him to some of my favorites here. So for example, I could send him to Google if I wanted to navigate him to where he needed to go. And so you can see now on Johnny's screen that he is now on Google. I also can lock his screen, so that says to him, like, lets him know you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. I also can then unlock his screen and let him continue working. I can mute his iPad so that if the volume is too loud, that he knows that he needs to turn it down. I also can send him to certain applications on here. So for example, if a child, that wants to go to quizzes, then I could send them to quizzes to go and take that there, etc., etc. So that would allow them to do quite a few different things. You also can AirPlay from their iPad onto the screen, so without getting up and going closer to them. You also can add more students by just clicking on the circle with the add button.